I heard somebody say one time, we're just all trying to get through life, trying not to be lonely. You know, just trying not, every day it goes by, we're just trying to not be lonely.
Interesting.
Right. And, you know, not being an island of one. And then, you know, if I'm by myself, hey, being by yourself is good.
Yeah.
I think spending some alone time and reflection and doing those things is good. I should probably do that more often. I'm a people person. I like to be around people. My cup is filled around people.
You're quite extroverted,
right?
eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I'm alone, it's like, dude, if it's too long, I have to do some thinking. I don't sometimes want to do that because I might find out things I don't want to know about myself.
Sure.
And but yeah, being alone is a good trait. It's a good trait to be able to reflect and do that. And where was I going with this? What were we just talking about before? I had a point on this.
Being caved in, vulnerability,
the vulnerability,
courage to
right?
be yourself.
Yeah, and the vulnerability aspect of being alone, it's almost too vulnerable. We still need companionship. We still need relationships. It's okay to be alone, but I don't think we're wired naturally to be by ourselves for everything. Because if you're by yourself too long, you become vulnerable because you'll talk yourself into anything.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Without some sort of an external like little nudge in the right direction if you're losing your way.
But, well, even practically, like you can imagine if, I mean, I just think of my father's a lobster fisherman, right? So if you close yourself off and you want to be an island, don't want to have any friends, that's not going to work out too well for you when your engine breaks down in the Atlantic, because you're going to have to call someone to come help you. So being alone, it does make you really vulnerable because, and this is one of the hardest things to accept. It kills our ego, but you're probably going to need someone sometime. Yeah. And that's hard to accept, man. And I'm speaking from experience because I hate having to rely on people, but it's life, man. Like you probably are going to need someone to help you out at some point.
And it's an act of humility to ask for help, right? It's an act of, and it's hard, especially for men. You don't want to ask for help. Yeah. You know, like how many times have you driven around aimlessly with? I can tell you 100 times I've driven around aimlessly with my wife in the car, wondering where I'm supposed to go, and I can easily ask for directions. You know, and but I'll find it. Right, I don't want to bother anyone. Yeah, right? It's just very simple there, right?
It's so true, man.
But yet we'll be in this caved in on ourselves, trying to work our way through to find, and it could be so simple if you could just ask for help.
Yeah,
and
why do you think that is? Do you think we're just afraid of someone leaving us hanging? Like because I feel the same thing. Like I don't. There's this reluctance to ask anyone, but it's so stupid because. I mean that honestly, that's how. If I think about some of my best friendships, normally that's how it's been. Like there's been some kind of, they've asked me for something and I've helped them out. They asked me or the other way around, and then we help each other out, and that's really what a friendship is. Even if it's just character development, just character development. That's what life really is, right? Yeah. But even if it's just like, hey, help me move. It's in those times that you actually bond with people. So you have to be. If you want to bond with people, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be willing to ask for help and really be yourself as well.
The asking for help, it's like we said, it's an act of humility. Sometimes you have to let go in order to, like, if you want to advance forward and improve, you're going to have to let go, because you have to. At least I know I have to speak for myself here. I have to know that I don't know all the things. Right. And maybe I can discover, but sometimes you don't have time to find those answers. You need help, right? Yeah. And I love that in my friendships. Like men, it's different. My wife would often, we talk about this every now and then, because I'm the type of guy, I'm not afraid to ask for help at all. And my wife's enamored by it. She's like, how do you, like, I don't want to bother anybody, that's sort of thing. But for me, I'm like, hey man, you can help me move? Or, hey dude, like, it doesn't matter what the question is. I'm gonna ask it. If you don't ask, you don't get. Right. And if it's a no, then it's a no. I'll move on to another one. Right? Yeah.